Section 8.3 is about multiplying binomials. So binomials are where you have two terms, bi meaning two. So you're going to do one binomial times another. I'm going to show you three different ways that you can multiply binomials, and you can decide which process you like the best. Okay? So the first three are just going to be examples of those three types. So the first one is a table. So if I was going to make a table, I would make a 3-column, 3-row table, so a 3 by 3 table. I would then separate this binomial into these last two rows. So 3x goes here, -2 would go on the bottom. And then I would write x plus 5 up here, so positive x and positive 5. Then you're just going to multiply as you go across. So in this section, I multiplied 3x times x and got 3x squared. To get this section, I multiply 3x times 5, which is 15x. To multiply for this one, I did -2 times x. And then for this, I did -2 times 5 and got -10. So then what you do is see if there's any like terms. So notice the only like terms that I could add would be those two. So I would write my answer as 3x squared. Combining 15x and -2x would be 13x, and then -10. So here would be my final answer that I would write. A second way that you can multiply binomials is FOIL. Now, this is probably the most common way people multiply just because FOIL has been around for so often. FOIL is an acronym that stands for firsts, outsides, insides, lasts. So your firsts are the first in each expression. So my first would be 4a and 2a because they're wrote first in each parenthesis. So then I would multiply 4a times 2a and get 8a squared. My outsides would be what's on the outside of the entire problem. So 4a and -1. When I multiply 4a times -1, my outsides would give me -4a. Then I multiply my insides. So my insides are what you would get when you are on the inside of the entire line. So 1 times 2a would be 2a. And then my last would be the last of each expression. So 1 times -1, which is -1. When you finish that, you'll notice that these two, -4a and 2a, are like terms. So you could combine those together. So my final answer would be 8a squared, -2a when you add those two, and then -1. Okay, the last process that I wanted to show you was the distributive property. So FOIL is really just the distributive property in a different way. So a distributive property is where you split one expression up and take it times both of them. It doesn't matter if you take the first or the second. I just always take the first one if they're the same size, or I take the smaller one. So I took x plus 1 and split it up here. So I put x on this one, and I'm going to take it times both of these. And then I put +1 here, and then I'm going to take 1 times both of those. So then it's just a distributive property. So x times x is x squared, x times -4 is -4x, 1 times x is 1x, 1 times -4 is -4. Then again, notice that you have those like terms that you would need to combine. So my final answer would be x squared, -3x when I combine them, and then -4. I want you to multiply the last problem in this section by any process. So table, FOIL, distributive property, you decide. So on the last problem, you should be getting 3d squared, 17d when you combine -1d and 18d, and then -6. Okay, so this first section was multiplying a binomial. The second part here is where you're going to multiply a binomial with a trinomial. So notice they just get a little bit bigger. There is only one way to multiply these, and that's by the distributive property. You can decide to line it up vertically. So if you would rather line it up like we did with addition, put the bigger one on top, put the smaller one on bottom, and just multiply like you would double digit numbers. So -7 times -5, -7 times x, -7 times 3x squared. Then, just like I would in double digits, when I move to the next digit over, I put a 0 in this spot and then move to the next 10 spot. So I do 10x times negative 5, 10x times x, or sorry, 2x times x, 2x times 3x squared. Then just combine your like terms. So 35, negative 17x, negative 19x squared, and then 6x cubed. I typically do it the vertical way just because all of your like terms are lined up and it makes it real simple to see what to combine together. The other format that you could use is if you like to do it horizontally. So that just means take one of your expressions and split it up and just do the distributive property. So I will typically take the smaller one. So I split up the 2x minus 7 and put the 2x here, and then took it times the entire expression on the first, and then I put the negative 7 on the second one and took it times the whole first expression. So split up one of them and distribute all the way through. So when I distribute, I get 6x cubed, 2x squared, negative 10x, then I multiply here, negative 21x squared, negative 7x, and positive 35. Just like when you were adding like terms, they got to have the same exponents, so I would combine them. 6x cubed would stay the same, combine my x squareds, combine my x's, and 35 would stay the same. So notice it gives you the same answer, which it should, but you decide which format you like doing it. Okay, pause the video and try the got it question. Alright, on the got it question, I lined mine up vertically, so put the bigger one on top, line up the smaller one on the bottom, and then just multiply. So negative 3, positive 9x, negative 6x squared. I put a 0 there because I'm moving over one spot, so I get x, negative 3x squared, positive 2x cubed, and then I combine my like terms. So your final answer should say 2x cubed minus 9x squared plus 10x minus 3. If you still have questions, let me or Mr. Gahan know. Otherwise, start on your assignment for section 8.3.